Okay, hello everybody, welcome to the meeting of the full council. Today's the 22nd of July 2025. In the event of a fire, please follow instructions and directions to the fire exits and make your way to the assembly point adjacent to the Quick Fit building. In the interest of openness and transparency, the law permits recording and photography to report on the proceedings of council meetings when they are open to the public. No flash photography or additional lighting should be used without prior consent. Anyone wishing to report on the meeting or anyone not wishing to be filmed or photographed should notify the clerk or chair. The meeting will be live streamed on YouTube, but tonight it's audio only because we're having a few technical difficulties. So please remember to speak clearly and use your microphone, remembering to switch it off when you have finished. As the chair of the meeting, I have the discretion to suspend or terminate the live streaming if, in my opinion, continuing to do so would prejudice the proceedings of the meeting. Improper conduct or disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. Please raise your hand to indicate that you wish to speak and wait for me to call upon you. As chair of the meeting, I will determine the order in which members will be invited to speak. To ensure the efficiency of the meeting, no member may speak for more than 3 minutes on one item or more than once. Therefore, please make your points as concisely as possible. Please may I also remind you to be polite and respectful towards one another at all times. Please put your phones on silent mode and put them away for the duration of the meeting and adhere to the no smoking policy of this building and its grounds. So item 74 to receive and consider approval of apologies for absence from any councillors not in attendance. Taylor.
Yes, Chair. Apologies received from councillors Blowers, Colby, Craig, Moore, Page, Ray and Youngman with reasons provided.
Thank you. Can I have a proposal to accept? Councillor Pearce, seconded by Councillor Rappensberger. All in favour, please. That's everyone. So we have here present myself, Councillor Nasima Begum, Nick Webb, Bernie Rappensberger, John Pitts, Andy Pearce, Keith Patience, Graham Parker, Christian Newsom, John Murray, Jen Jones, Wendy Brooks, Bob Breakspear and Sonia Barker, and staff members present are Sarah Foote, Acting Town Clerk, and Taylor Williams, Committee Clerk. Item 75, declarations and dispensations. 75.1, to receive declarations of disclosable pecuniary, other registrable and non-registrable interests and of bias and predetermination on items on the agenda. Do we have any to declare? Any interest to declare, East Suffolk councillors?
85.1.
Yeah.
Question agenda items for point attendance to the Court Liaison meeting with the Suffolk Council on 28th.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be discussing that, or
Yes.
right? Then I suggest we need to declare it.
Okay. Councillor Patience.
I've just got a query. I know it's not on this agenda. I saw a half a paper this afternoon relating to. Sorry, thank you. Relating to a climate emergency confidential item relating to the Resilience Board. And I understand I have to speak note there before I got into the meeting. I am a member of the Resilience Board and we meet quite regularly.
Okay.
But I understand that there may be if there is a problem, I'll have to leave the room. But that was on a paper which came out very late this afternoon. Had I had the opportunity, I would have sent in a request for dispensation so I could speak on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other interests to declare? 75.2, to consider written requests for dispensations for interest and note dispensation granted.
Not received, Chair.
Item 76, to consider the draft minutes and confidential note of the full council meetings on the 24th of June and the 15th of July 2025. Councillor Brooks.
I propose we approve the main minutes, the ones that the public see, but there's an item I want to raise on the confidential minutes in confidential sessions. So I propose we approve the main minutes.
Okay. Councillor Pearce.
I'm happy to second, subject to one minor amendment. If Wendy's, it's just a typo. 54.2, it says removed, professionally removed, and it's a superfluous removed. I think it just needs to be professionally removed. If Wendy's happy to accept that, then I'll second her proposal.
All in favour, please. 77, public forum, an opportunity for the public to make comments on any matters on this agenda and to consider any advance comments from the public. Taylor.
No advance comments received, Chair, and no one's in attendance on the webinar.
Okay, item 78, finance and governance, 78.1 to receive and consider the following. Item 1, 2024 to 2025 budget and reserves. Any comments? Councillor Pearce.
Propose we accept it as a true and accurate record of the current situation, but noting that it's fluid and is evaluated by F&G and full council at least monthly, and budget and loan when it's meeting as well.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Barker. All in favour, please. One. Item 2, any bank reconciliations? I believe they're up to date till May and June is in progress.
Yeah.
Item 3, payments and income for the month ending 30th of June 2025 and July 2025 to date. Councillor Brooks.
I am increasingly concerned about the state of the grants budget because it seems to be almost running out, and we're not even halfway through the year. In fact, we're very, very near to the beginning of the year. And the other one I'm a bit concerned about, but I think if we do some jiggling, it should be all right, is that the events budget also looks really tight.
Councillor Pearce.
So the grants budget's already been flagged by the finance manager, and we've already agreed as a council to discuss it in budget and loan over the summer. It's primarily because there was pre-approval of some large grants last year. So the decisions were taken last year, but coming out this year's budget. And the suggestion is, but we have 30 odd grand in the grants reserve as well in the budget. So, but it was to the resolution, it's already been flagged, and the resolution was that it should be looked at closely by budget and loan, and then any recommendations on budget allocation or how we move forward can be taken from there. Similarly with the events, we have a main events budget, but we also have major events that have their own bespoke budgets. But if there are any concerns there, that can certainly be looked at in budget and loan, which can then make any recommendations back to F&G or full council if they need approving. But I believe the item we're on is the income and expenditure reports as it is, which is actually something slightly different. So I've read the income and expenditure reports, and I'm happy to propose those as a true and accurate record of income and expenditure for the period in question. I have, however, raised a couple of queries to the finance staff. Nothing urgent, but I just wonder whether we could perhaps get an answer back to F&G or something like that. Out the recent invoices that went through, there was one contractor invoice, which, if I read the invoice correctly, said for a cancelled hire. So I was just trying to understand what the circumstances are that we would have had to cancel a hire and left ourselves with a residual liability for the hire charge, presumably. I may have been misreading the invoice, but it was stamped cancelled hire on the invoice. So I don't know what it was that caused us to cancel it, that we still had to pay a residual charge. So I just wondered if we could have I'm not raising it as a problem, just if we could have an explanation. And the other one, there was a fairly large receipt. I think it was only the end of last week for Whitton Hall rental income. I don't know how much of that was refundable deposit. So what is actual net income? And I just wonder again whether we could have clarification that rental income for the community halls is actually being credited to the community halls reserve, because obviously that's fairly useful in offsetting our own maintenance costs going forward. But the actual report itself, I'm absolutely fine with, and I propose accepting it as a true and accurate record.
High. So even though it says deposit, that none of that's going to be returned. That's all net income.
Okay, but they do pay a refundable deposit that is returned.
For one-off hires.
Okay, that's fine.
So that
So-
one is not.
But all I saw is there was a large amount, so that's either a block booking or a period of time. So all I really wanted to know was that is going into the community halls reserve and helping to finance our costs there. It should be, because the community halls are all linked to the community halls budget and reserve. But I just wanted clarification on that point if we can. Doesn't need to be clarified tonight. That can just come back to F&G. It's not urgent.
Yeah, I know this is not included, but it was mentioned about events and comms budget, and we have a meeting tomorrow where we can look at that in detail. It's an item on the agenda.
Okay, councillor Brooks.
I want to raise something under payments, but I think I want to raise it in confidential session.
Okay, yeah, so we have a proposal.
I second Andy's proposal.
Okay. All in favour then, please. Councillor Parker, you're not, yeah, that's everyone. So you wanted to raise 70, oh no, payments for approval. Item 4, payments for approval, there are none. 78.2, to receive and note the draft minutes of the Finance and Governance Committee meeting on the 14th of July 2025. They haven't been done yet. 78.3, to consider the peer challenge initiative. You can see on there the note that's been written that the Finance and Governance Committee has recommended for officers to engage on the development of the initiative, but no decision is to be made until the new business plan has been adopted. Councillor Pearce.
Propose we endorse that recommendation on the basis that some of the requirements will actually be tackled under the business plan in particular like core objectives and things like that, and therefore it would make sense to invite peer review and scrutiny at that level once we've actually agreed the business plan and we're happy that we've got we're happy with our own internal review. I mean, in the meantime, we still have our professional audits every year, so internal and external. But there doesn't seem to me any merit in looking at a peer review exercise while actually we've got an internal review taking place at the same time. It would make sense for the internal review leading to the business plan to be resolved first, and then to look at actually instituting a peer review system if we're going to after that. But in the meantime, that our staff should continue liaising with their colleagues and other parish councils about actually developing the idea so that we're ready to go when the time comes.
Councillor Brooks.
People know my thoughts on this one, but also the peer challenge initiative, it's a meaningless title. It means absolutely nothing. So maybe it could be renamed as something that actually means something.
Okay, we'll wait for that to come back. So the proposal is that we endorse the recommendation for officers to engage on the development of the initiative, seconded by Councillor Jones.
Actually institute it until our business plan has been agreed and adopted.
Yeah. In favour.
Excuse me.
Sorry. What? Oh,
Well,
did
I'm
you?
not voting.
Oh, sorry.
I've got
I
my
missed
hand
your
up.
vote. Are you against or abstaining?
I'm against.
Against. One against. Could you turn your microphone off, please?
Sorry.
Thank you. 78.4, to consider a recommendation from the Finance and Governance Committee to amend its meeting schedule to the second Wednesday of the month at 10 o'clock. Councillor Pearce.
So propose.
I will second that because that would help me a lot. Anybody have any comments? All in favour then, please. That's everyone. 79, Town Hall Project. 79.1, to receive and note the draft minutes of the Town Hall Project Committee meeting on the 10th of July 2025. And we've got Sheila in attendance. So 79.2, to receive and note a progress report from the project manager. Councillor Pearce.
Can I just say before Sheila speaks, obviously we had an update following the last meeting that I assume is confidential. Yeah. And I would, so I just had a comment on that I want to make, but I want to speak on, but because of the nature of it, the underlying item, whether I could come back to that in confidential session, please. It's not a problem, just a query.
Thank you, Sheila.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, but unfortunately, due to this evening's technology, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, and I put lipstick on. Goodness me.
Can Sheila see us?
I can see you. Yes.
Okay. Webinar.
Right. Good. Okay. Super. Thank you. Right. So as far as the construction contract is concerned, first of all, despite the anti-pigeon measures that were installed at some point in the past around the council chamber, we had a huge issue with pigeon guano in the void above the council chamber. That's now been removed. It's actually quite a complex work to remove that because it is hazardous waste, but it has now been removed. But that does mean that we've spent about 5,500 of contingency on it. We also discovered that when the previous roof was replaced, many of the slates and sort of debris from the roof were just knocked down into the void. So one of the things we have found out is that the council chamber ceiling must be pretty sturdy stuff because it has been supporting an awful lot of debris up there. So I guess that is good news. As far as the main contract goes, we have had a delay notification from Barnes due to the condition of roofs. I mentioned in the past that we've got significant roof timber problems. That's due to the ongoing damp that was being allowed in over the decades since the roofs were last attended to. And we have dry rot and insect infestation to deal with as well. So what this means is that we're having to do some quite extensive replacement of timbers in all of the roofs, with the exception of the council chamber roof, which is in quite good nick. And to do so, because we are doing things like replacing long sections of the wooden roof plates, it means that we actually have to support the roof from ground floor level. And that's really why the delay is occurring, because we can't work below that because of all the scaffolding and the propping that's happening. It's really is holding up work on particularly the Compass Street elevation at the moment. There will be a financial impact. We haven't agreed what that will be. And we will also have a delay to the project. And again, we haven't confirmed exactly how long that's likely to be. Barnes have increased the team of people working on the roof, but it will be inevitable that it will have some impact because of the very sort of central nature of the roof to the overall work that we do on the project. We've looked at restacking the program to do the work in certain, to do other work in place of some of the things that should be happening at the moment. And the most obvious one of that would be to do some of the new build work. But unfortunately, to do the new build work for the events hall would mean that we had effectively shut off our access for a large and heavy plant to get into the site, because we can't come off Mariner Street due to level changes between Mariner Street and the site itself. So we're continuing to work on it, and I will be able to give more detail of the exact implications in terms of time and budget, but undoubtedly it will be making use of some of the contingency provision in the budget and will have an impact on the programme overall. UKPN will be installing power for the substation from the 4th of August onwards. That will mean digging across the High Street and Mariner Street. I think that's scheduled for weekend works. There will be road closure notifications are up. I think you may have seen the signage if you've been anywhere near the town hall recently. We don't yet have a signed lease, but provided UKPN are willing, I intend to progress at our risk. That means that if for any reason we couldn't put a lease in place, we would have a substation that we had to pay for. I actually see that the reality is that we have no choice. If we don't have a substation, we don't have a functioning town hall. And so I see the risk as minimal. It's a timing issue. Hopefully the legalities will be finalised soon. It's really to do with having a lease that also has the Heritage Fund having an interest in the of having a charge, if you like, over the title deed for that very small parcel of land. It's hard to imagine that 9 square meters could occupy so much time and effort, but we will get it resolved. I just wanted to flag up to you that I intend to press ahead unless UKPN themselves decide they don't want to do the work until the lease is in place. On other aspects, we're currently seeking, we've got a tender, or an opportunity out for a pop culture project facilitator. That's someone who's going to lead an intergenerational project, including curating an inaugural exhibition at the town hall. And it's looking at the pop culture from the 50s through to the early 2000s. And it's intergenerational because it will have different groups of people working together, understanding what music people listen to now and how things were back in the day. And we want to have someone who will lead that, and it will give the opportunity for the council's heritage officer and also the new heritage apprentice to get involved with an experience sort of exhibition and project leader for that work. We've had, you may remember that we had or maybe aware that we had a little project with the YMCA Shine group, where young people from YMC Shine took over social media, and they've been promoting heritage around the town, and they visited lots of different museums around the town and put stuff on TikTok and Insta and things like that, telling their peers about museums. It's been quite transformational for some of the young people, and importantly, we've also had really positive feedback from the museums that they're seeing new people, more people, and different people coming to the museums directly and mentioning that they had seen these social media takeovers. So I think that kind of underlines some of the things that we want to carry on doing as the town hall develops. We've just about completed the town hall manager job spec. That's been developed. I've been doing some work with Councillor Pearce and with Sarah Foote. And the intention is that we bring on a town hall manager in autumn of this year so that they can start helping to build up the team and working with the building project, getting to understand the building and looking at the policies, procedures and documentation that we would need to have in place to launch the town hall when it opens. Importantly, what we have agreed is that the kind of back office functions of the council in terms of things like bookkeeping, producing management accounting reports for the town hall and other such aspects would ideally be done by the town council's team rather than reinventing the wheel within the town hall. And I think that's probably an important step forwards. Finally, spend to date £1,831,568.80. Still a long way to go, but we're certainly starting to ramp up on the expenditure now that we have the main contractor on board. That's it from me, unless anyone has any questions, but I think I'll probably be coming back in confidential session. If I'm guessing what Councillor Pearce wants to talk about is what I would like to mention too.
Councillor Brooks. Councillor Brooks.
First of all, I'd like to thank Sheila and John for giving their speech in Sheila began in French, which was very impressive, to the Brazil Twinning people last week. So thank you very much to Sheila and John. I think they really enjoyed it. I should have mentioned this in the project meeting, but it's just occurred to me sitting here that pop culture must also surely include fashion. And I hope that that's part of the pop cultural job, that it's not just music. And finally, the graffiti. I thought the graffiti on the town hall was going to be removed when that building was demolished. Are we still waiting for that building to be demolished? Sheila?
Right, okay, to answer in turn, thank you very much. I'm glad you liked me starting in French to the Twinning Associations. I'm sorry I couldn't sustain it for the full 45 minutes. Pop culture, yes, absolutely. It's about fashion. It's about it's pop culture in its widest sense, and really the kind of cultural changes that happened as from the sort of late 50s, early 60s, as that developed, and how that impacted people in the town. Finally, the graffiti that's on, the only remaining graffiti that we haven't taken off is the graffiti on the Compass Street elevation, but the one that faces north into the courtyard and looking out towards Mariner Street. The only reason we haven't removed that is that we'll be building up against that. It'll be covered up anyway. So I didn't particularly want to spend any money getting someone to steam it off if it's not going to be seen in the long run anyway. If you want it removed, I'll do it. If you feel it says bad things.
I don't know if you can see, but she's shaking her head. Councillor Barker. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Sheila, just to mention, I think, because obviously you report to the project group on this thing, but it's to do with the college students. I wondered if we've advanced any more on that. I haven't been past it this week. And this is for the benefit of
Yes.
councillors here. I wondered if you just wanted to literally flag that up.
Yes, certainly. So we had a competition with East Coast College for them to develop a panel that looks at aspects of Lowestoft's heritage, and we had 5 panels to award, which we have done, and they are being designed and are being printed at the moment, and they'll be displayed on the hoardings. The aim was to really, the learning outcome was not so much about creating the panels, but more for students to understand what you have to do when putting a bid together for a creative tender, if you like. We felt it was a really good opportunity for them to learn.
Thank you.
So Sheila, you will come back in confidential session.
Yes, providing someone lets me know it's happening, I'll reappear by magic.
Should be around 7:45.
Okay,
Okay.
that's lovely.
See you
Thank
then.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
See you.
So moving on to item 80, Marina Theatre, 80.1, to receive and note the draft minutes of the Marina Theatre Project Committee meeting on the 10th of July 2025. And then 80.2, to receive and note a progress report from the project manager. Councillor Pearce.
I do have something that I would like to say in relation to one specific piece of information in this progress report, but it feeds very much into confidential discussions that we've been having over 3 weeks in relation to other matters. So I couldn't explain my reasoning for that proposal unless we can do that in confidential session. So could we also come back to that, please?
Sure.
Okay, so the project manager has sent her apologies, but her report that she gave to the project committee has been uploaded as a meeting paper for you for information. And if you have any questions.
In relation to that report, I got my query, but actually it's something I want to put to this full council rather than to the project manager off the back of that report.
Yeah, and we can come back to that in confidential session. Does anybody have anything else to say in non-confidential session? Therefore, we move on to item 81, assets, inclusion and development. 81.1, to receive and note the draft minutes of the assets, inclusion and development committee meeting on the 7th of July 2025. They're not available yet. 81.2, to consider a recommendation from the aid committee to reallocate funding from a trailer to a wood chipper. Anybody? Councillor Pearce.
So proposed. It's been. It was discussed at. I mean, the rationale was set out in the briefing paper. It was discussed by aid. It's not an additional money. It's reallocation of an existing budget to reprioritising what they would like to do with that money, and they set out their rationale for that in the briefing paper. So it's not an extra cost. It's already been budgeted for. So I would like to propose that we endorse that request and the recommendation from aid.
Seconded by Councillor Jones. Any other comments? All in favour then? That's everyone. Thank you. 81.3, to consider a recommendation from the aid committee regarding future use of the Bellevue Park thatched cottage is confidential. 82, planning. 82.1, to receive and note the draft minutes of the planning committee meetings on the 26th of June and the 10th of July 2025. We've had both of those. Any comments? No. 83, personnel. 83.1, to receive and note the draft minutes of the personnel committee meeting on the 3rd of July 2025. We've had those. Does anybody have any comments? No. 83.2, to consider a recommendation from the personnel committee to join a cycle to work scheme. Councillor Brooks.
Why is this on? I thought we'd already agreed it.
We agreed it at personnel. So
Have we not agreed it here?
No.
No, that's what it's come here.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, it was
It's a government scheme.
Yeah.
and it's basically it's to encourage our staff to cycle to work where they can, where it is practical for them to use a bike. And it is a tax-free
It's tax benefit, not tax free.
to enable them to purchase it if they so wish. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's it helps people afford a bike, and it's tax-free. So I propose we approve it.
Tax free. It's a tax benefit.
Sorry.
It's a tax benefit. But it's not tax free. Anyway, tax. Yeah. Yeah. Councillor Pearce.
Yeah, I'll second. It's a tax efficient means of purchasing,
Yeah.
enabling our staff to purchase a bike. So I'll second the proposal accordingly.
Okay. All in favour, please. 3.3 to approve recommendations from the Personnel Committee regarding staff terms and conditions is confidential. 84, climate and ecological emergency. 84.1 to receive an update on appropriate activity to raise the profile of the flood risk to Lowestoft. Councillor Pearce.
Well, I'm not on the committee anymore, so I wasn't part of the discussion, but I read the briefing paper, the detail of the consideration, the points raised, the recommendations that draw in all the stakeholders. Thought it was a very comprehensive and detailed proposal, encompassing all stakeholders and avenues, and I propose, therefore, that we endorse the recommendation from the committee and propose accordingly.
Councillor Brooks.
Second, but I was interested in Councillor Councillor Patience's comment that he is part of the Resilience Board. I don't know if that's for East Suffolk because we never get any reports on it here,
Councillor
but
Patience.
it would be interesting to.
Councillor Patience, would you like to respond?
Yeah, Councillor Parker's also on the board as well. We've got several East Suffolk councillors.
Microphone, please.
Councillor Parker is also on the board.
Yeah.
There's a meeting on Wednesday. It's normally done by remote. So yeah, I think talking to Councillor Murray earlier, this is not the same as what Councillor Brooks is actually indicating to. The difference between the Resilient Board and the board that never meets is completely a different board. Yeah?
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Clarify, is the Resilience Board about coastal erosion and living with climate change?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so it is different. You're right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's been a proposal. It's been seconded. All in favour, please. That's everyone. Okay. 85, outside bodies. 85.1 to request any agenda items and appoint attendees to the quarterly liaison meeting with East Suffolk Council on the 28th of July. So if we get the East Suffolk councillors to leave first. If the councillors just leave first.
All right, yeah.
Councillor Pearce.
Well, I read the draft agenda, which is fine. The only thing I would like to add, which can actually be added as a fourth bullet point under the first item, was the one that we discussed in the Town Hall Project Committee about a strategic discussion with East Suffolk Council about the approach to parking availability, because recent operational decisions by parking enforcement had displaced some parking under an area that was being considered as available parking for the town hall operations. So there's no point going back to parking enforcement in isolation, because they would be acting operationally under their own internal decisions. So the suggestion was that we opened a discussion with the East Suffolk people we meet at the quarterly liaison meeting, and potentially invite any relevant officers there who may be able to inform that discussion, but with a view, given that East Suffolk Council are not only partners but beneficiaries of the regeneration of the High Street, that we could have a high-level discussion that they could then take away internally.
Sorry, where's the draft agenda? I can't see that.
It is there. I think it came out separately.
It was in the briefing paper because I read it today when I was prepping.
First one. Sorry. Councillor Brooks.
Well, firstly, I'd like to go, but also I would also like to add to it an update on the Crown Hotel, because we haven't had any real feedback on advances they've made, and I'd really like to know what's going on there.
That can go under the first agenda item as well, I guess,
Yep.
concept. Yeah, thank you.
So, and can I also put my name forward as well
Yeah.
to go?
I have to send my apologies for that one because it's my brother's wedding.
Okay, I would suggest that someone from the climate committee who's been
I'm on the
campaigning for the flood defences and flood risk, aka Councillor Murray, might like to attend because he's not attended one of these before.
Next Monday at 10 a.m. Go on, John.
Unfortunately, I'm away yet again. I would love to have gone.
Councillor Jones.
Just to say I'd like to go.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Brooks.
It's a shame John can't go. I am on the climate committee. I doubt, but I mean, maybe Paul Page could come along. He's also on the climate committee. Deborah's not around.
She's on holiday, isn't she?
Uh,
She's on leave, isn't she?
If we put Paul's name down and then ask him if he's available to go.
yeah.
So how many have we got then? Andy, Wendy, Paul and Jen.
Will Elise go in your absence?
She might do actually.
Monday at 10 a.m. She can do it.
Yeah.
All right. So do we need a proposal and second of that? Yeah. So if we could have Councillor Pearce propose those members, seconded by Councillor Jones. All in favour, please. Everyone. Okay. We could ask the others to come back, please.
I just wanted to. I wondered if Councillor Pitts might be willing to come along. Busy.
I'm on holiday at the James Bagot nearly every day next week.
Holiday.
Yeah, I'll restart my window.
Okay, item 86, to consider the town council's position on the former Lowestoft Hospital. Councillor Brooks.
This made me laugh because I appreciate our position. We don't own it. We can't do very much about it. We have tried. But also the point where it points out the Waveney local plan states that the Lowestoft Hospital is allocated for housing. And personally, I wouldn't have a problem with that because it seems to be a good use of the space, but obviously it's privately owned now. But also the Waveney local plan is also cited as a reason that we have to go along with the Jed Wen nonsense and building 1,500 houses. So it seems it's all pick a mix with the Waveney local plan because nothing is going on in terms of the hospital. And yet, anyway, that's my point. I mean, we do what we can, but we are very limited what we can do.
Okay, Councillor Pearce.
Yeah, so I read the report. There was nothing surprising in there, quite honestly. But what I would do, because we're not an owner, but we are a stakeholder and we can be an advocate for different views. So what I was going to suggest is I probably won't get a lot of thanks for this because I'm not on the committee anymore, but I was going to suggest that we actually have it as a standing item for review, not necessarily at every meeting, but at regular intervals on the Town Council Planning Committee to track progress. Members of the public who wish to make representations or come in to speak on the item as they're all stakeholders can do so, but only to the current situation and developments and the planning situation, not to revisit past history or to turn it into a lobbying campaign. But, you know, as there is a planning element and we are a statutory consultee, and as we are advocates for local people, and there are things going on there that, you know, including the housing, but the other uses that are meant to be sympathetic to its history, i.e. like the social and health use. And I think maybe if we tracked it through planning, as I said, not necessarily every meeting because it meets fortnightly, but you know, maybe one meeting every couple of months or something, and then elsewhere when there's actually something to consider. But so there is a committee who can be owning the monitoring of this, and then anything that requires a more fundamental decision can then come back here from that committee, and that would be my proposal.
Thank you. Councillor Newsom.
Yeah, I'll second Councillor Pizz's proposal. Likewise, really, what other people have raised. I think I know we can't really, as I say, do much, but I mean there was something in the local plan as well, I believe, about it turned into a North Lowestoft Medical Centre. That might have been one of the ideas. Oh, and Hans as well. But yeah, it's such a shame because there's loads of heritage aspects in there as well, and to see it just left to rack and ruin, I think is absolutely disgraceful.
Councillor Murray.
Thank you. I agree with the proposal. I wonder whether that our being aware of what's going on would be facilitated if a member of the full council or the council joined, was part of the community group that is there. There are a number of councillors here who are on the distribution list of their emails and information, and whether it would benefit our overall understanding if either one person or on a rotation basis, but some actual engagement with the group. But I also note, because there's been discussion about whether it's building or whether the medical, and there is a lot of shortage of medical facility in North Lowestoft. And it's been pointed out to me that the policy that we have in the development plan says development of the former Lowestoft Hospital site for residential use should comply with the following development principles. It doesn't say that it can only be used for development, though, for residential. It doesn't say that it can, it just says, it implies the residential element should be sympathetic to this, that, and the other. But it doesn't, to my mind, read that that's the only use that it can be put to. And that might be something when a significant number of residents in the town are very keen to have the medical facility considered to be there. The owner is not against that. The bizarre thing is the medical James Paget and the other bodies seem to be resistant to it.
PCG.
That's the snazzy one. Yeah, they're against it. But you know, a lot of people in the town are in favour of it, and there is no medical facility of that nature. And particularly as our wonderful government have announced that this is the nature of the sort of thing that we're going to have in the communities. So maybe it's something we should keep an eye on.
Okay, so we've had a proposal from Andy. If we can deal with the first, the proposal was that it be a standing item every couple of months on planning, and it was seconded by Christian. All in favour of that, please? That's everyone. John mentioned about having an LT. Can it be considered as an outside body? The hospital group, contact group. It is an outside body. So can we not have an LTC rep on that outside body if we ask them if they are okay with that? So would you like to propose that we have a rep? Councillor Brooks?
I'm not against us having somebody on the outside body, but I think more importantly, it comes to planning and we can discuss it there.
But that's already been,
I know
that's going to
what I'm
happen
saying.
anyway.
But a number of us already kept informed. I mean,
but if we treat it as an outside body, that
I know that I understand all of that. I mean, if somebody wants to go along, wants to nominate themselves to go along, I'd vote. It's fine. There's nothing to be lost by that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll second John's proposal that maybe, but it's not going to be. It's certainly not going to be me.
Okay, that's fine.
In fact, I propose maybe John would like to go.
Yeah.
In answer to that, I don't go. I'm not a member of it. I suppose through my wife, I should declare it that sort of linked interest. But she goes. But I'm not a member of it. I've got nothing against becoming a member of it if they would have me, and that was what was wanted. But others may equally want to do that.
Is this about this point? Yeah. Okay then.
Well, obviously, Wendy seconded because I was going to second
something different because you obviously raised your hand before we spoke Is it on this as well? Okay, we'll come to you then, sorry.
I was going to second John's proposal, but Wendy jumped in and seconded anyway. If John is willing to go, but obviously he would be going as a Lowestoft Town Councillor, being our rep on the contact group, not as a private individual, then I would be happy if both John and Wendy are happy to amend their proposal to nominate John specifically. Yeah. If John doesn't want to do it, then the question of who goes can be covered separately. But I think the planning thing, definitely, yes, we need to be involved in because we are a statutory consultancy. But the contact group, even if there are like opposites with the ICB and so on like that, they are a stakeholder, and they need to be involved and they deserve to be involved. We are not the only stakeholder and we should not be muscling people out. So I think it would make sense that we have a rep on that group if they are willing for us to be represented to facilitate communication and liaison between the two parties.
Councillor Barker.
Yeah, just to say, really, really important that we have somebody on there, because I won't go into the history of it, but I was on that contact group until about 18 months ago. And you had the changeover between the CCG and the Integrated Care Board. And we also had a meeting here of all the stakeholders, including the MP, because I think we felt that as a stakeholder, without muscling out others, we should be included in that conversation. So I think it's really important that we do that. So I would support the idea of obviously it's planning, yes, important because we're a stakeholder there, a consultee, but also that we have somebody on there, because what happened was there was a meeting of stakeholders across the town, and because it wasn't officially communicated to us, nobody from here went. Not it wasn't nobody's fault, but we weren't even thought about as a stakeholder. So I think it's really important we do have a handle on what is going on there. So I totally agree with you, Councillor Murray. We need somebody on there.
Councillor Brooks.
Just to say that we might end up in a different position from the existing organisation. We as a town council might decide that we see a different future for Lowestoft. We don't know that.
That is the agenda item. What is our position?
Well, I don't think we have one.
Well,
do we?
yeah, I don't think we can agree a position tonight. I think we need to weigh up what's been said. We might well on certain issues corporately take a different position to the contact group, but equally we might well corporately take a different position to the ICB. And I remember an early meeting where we had a video call where they sent an ICB rep who acknowledged in the meeting he'd never been to the site. So, I think, but being on the contact group means at least we can have discussion. Whether we might well reach different conclusions on certain matters because we're coming at it from different angles, but we might agree on others. So having a representative on the contact group doesn't obligate us to agree with the contact group on all issues any more than having a representative on any other external body means that we are obligated to agree with them on every issue. It is just a means of representation to enable the two parties to talk to each other.
We have a rep to join the contact group, have it as a recognised outside body for the LTC, and John be that rep. Seconded by Councillor Brooks. All in favour, please. That's everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Item 80. Oh, Councillor Murray.
Except what's just been said, not totally sure what the process of doing that would be.
Staff will sort it out and let you know. All right. Item 87, to consider an update report report legal matters. That doesn't read right, does it? To consider an update report on legal matters. That's confidential. Item 88 then, date of the next meeting is Tuesday the 26th of August at 6:30. Any items for the next agenda?
You could just say that we made a recording of the meeting that will be available.
Okay, so because we've had technical difficulties today and there's no live visuals, a recording of this meeting will be made available afterwards, which will have the visuals, right?
No.
No, it won't have the visuals either. Oh, okay. We're not sure. It might not.
We will have everything discussed, so there could be no questions of transparency.
Yeah, okay. The legal bit's gone. I can't see it.
Do you want to finish the live stream first?
Yeah, but that's the bit.
The admissions to meetings.
The Admissions to Meetings Act is not there. Why have I not got it on here? Okay, admission to meetings, to resolve that under the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, the public be excluded from the meeting on the grounds that publicity would be prejudicial to public interest by reason of the confidential nature of the business to be transacted, namely any legal and employment issues relating to the matters on this agenda, including the following, any matters, including those above as required. So can I have a proposal that we go into confidential session? Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Pearce. All in favour, please. It's everyone. Thanks very much. We will now go into confidential session. Has it disappeared on your? I don't know. So annoying.
So the first.
I've got it all on.
Stop the recording of the live. I've raised the issue.
Yeah, I've got it all.